Rain painted streaks across the floor-to-ceiling windows of the 47th floor office overlooking Manhattan. The city moved like clockwork below, cars honking, umbrellas jostling, people hurrying with heads down. But up here, time often seemed to stand still. Eleanor Hart stood in silence, watching the gray clouds roll over the skyline. Her office, immaculate, modern, and cold, was as pristine as she was. She was the CEO of Hart Tech Industries, one of the most influential tech firms in the country. People respected her, feared her even. Tabloids called her the Ice Queen in Prada. She had built an empire from the ground up. She had everything, except peace. The walls were lined with glass and steel. The decor screamed success, but lacked life. No personal photos, no warm colors. Even her desk was spotless. To anyone looking in, Eleanor Hart had conquered the world. And yet, she'd never felt lonelier. She didn't notice the time, nor the quiet knock on the door. Her assistant, nervously holding a tablet, cleared her throat. "Ms. Hart, there's a boy downstairs. He says he's here to see you. Personally." Eleanor turned slowly. "A boy? He's around 7 or 8. Wearing a paper crown. He gave your full name. Said he wanted to invite you to something." Eleanor raised an eyebrow. Security didn't stop him. They tried. But he said it was really important. After a moment of hesitation, she sighed. "Fine. Send him up." 5 minutes later, the elevator doors opened with a soft ding. Out stepped a boy in an oversized yellow raincoat, water dripping onto the marble floors. His curly brown hair poked out from beneath a wrinkled, homemade paper crown. He looked up at Eleanor with the widest, most innocent eyes she'd seen in years. "Hi," he said with a grin. "I'm Leo." Eleanor stared. "Do I know you?" "Nope. But I saw you on the news. You were giving a speech and you looked, kinda sad." Her eyes widened. "Sad?" "Yeah," he said, stepping into her office like he owned it. "You smiled, but your eyes didn't. My foster mom says I do that too sometimes. When I miss my real parents." Before she could respond, he dug into his backpack and pulled out a colorful, crumpled piece of paper. "Here. It's an invitation. My birthday is this Saturday. I can invite anyone I want, and I picked you." She took the paper, stunned. Stickers lined the borders. The handwriting was uneven. And at the bottom, in large letters, it read, "Come if you don't have a family too." Her heart stuttered. "Why, me?" she asked softly. Leo tilted his head. "Because you looked like you needed someone. And birthdays are more fun when lonely people come. My foster mom says everyone deserves to feel special." That night, Eleanor didn't work late for the first time in years. Instead, she wandered her penthouse apartment, silent except for the occasional hum of the refrigerator. Her heels echoed on the hardwood floor. She poured a glass of wine and stood by the window, clutching Leo's invitation in her hand. She hadn't celebrated a birthday in over a decade. She pulled a dusty box from the back of a closet. Inside, memories she had locked away long ago, photos of her as a child, a worn stuffed bear, and one photo in particular, 2 little girls in paper crowns, sitting on a porch in Ohio, their arms wrapped around each other. Her sister, Mia. The last time they spoke was 17 years ago. After their parents died, grief and ambition had pulled them apart. A knot tightened in her throat. The next morning, Eleanor walked into her boardroom and announced, "Cancel all my meetings on Saturday." Her assistant blinked. "May I ask why?" Eleanor simply smiled for the first time in ages. "I have a birthday party to attend." The neighborhood was working class. Modest homes, chalk drawings on sidewalks, and the sound of children laughing filled the air. Balloons swayed in the breeze, tied to the fence posts. A handmade banner read, "Happy Birthday, Leo." Eleanor stepped out of a sleek black SUV, a gift bag in hand, dressed in a simple navy coat and flats. It was the most casual outfit she owned. She felt completely out of place, and more nervous than she had been at any board meeting. Leo saw her from the porch and ran to greet her. "You came," he shouted, hugging her around the waist. "I did," she smiled. "Happy birthday, Leo." Inside, the house was alive with music, kids running everywhere, streamers taped to the walls. The cake was homemade, slightly lopsided, but beautiful. There was no expensive catering, no grand venue, just love. Ms. Clara, Leo's foster mom, greeted her with warmth and curiosity. "Leo told me you might come. Said he could tell you needed a friend." Eleanor chuckled, shaking her head. "He's unusually observant." "He's special," Miss Clara said. "He sees people for who they really are." As the party went on, Eleanor found herself helping pour juice, laughing at magic tricks, and even wearing a paper party hat. The children accepted her instantly, not because of her money or power, but because she showed up. Leo tugged her sleeve later and whispered, "Wanna meet Maya? She's cool." In the backyard, sitting in a wheelchair, was a quiet girl with long dark hair and gentle eyes. She was sketching in a small notebook, lost in thought. "This is Maya," Leo said. "She's new. She doesn't talk much. But she draws everything." Eleanor knelt beside her. "Hi Maya. What are you drawing?" Maya looked up shyly, then flipped the sketchpad around. It was a drawing of Eleanor. But not the cold, composed version the world knew. This was Eleanor smiling, genuinely, wearing a paper crown, laughing. Eleanor felt a tear escape her eye. "You saw that?" she asked. Maya nodded. "I didn't even realize. I was that happy." As the sun set and the kids chased bubbles on the lawn, Eleanor sat with Ms. Clara on the porch. "I haven't been to a birthday party since I was a child," she said. "Then I'm glad Leo invited you," Clara replied. "He senses when someone needs kindness." Eleanor looked out at the yard. "I've spent years building walls. Leo knocked them down with a piece of paper." That night, after returning home, she sat at her desk and opened her laptop. With trembling fingers, she began an email to her sister. Subject: "I miss you. I'm sorry. Can we talk?" Then she called her assistant. "I want to set up a foundation. Something for kids in the foster system. Not just money, real support. Let's build something that matters." 3 months later, Eleanor launched the Crown Project, a non-profit offering scholarships, mental health support, and mentorship programs for foster children across the country. The launch event wasn't in a ballroom or a 5-star hotel. It was in a community center. Leo was the guest of honor, sitting in the front row, proudly wearing a suit, and his famous paper crown. In her speech, Eleanor told the audience, "The world teaches us to chase success. But a little boy once reminded me to chase connection. To find family not through blood, but through love. Sometimes, the smallest invitation can change the course of a life." Leo ran to her afterward and hugged her tight. "Told you needed a family." She laughed. "You were right, King Leo." Years passed. Eleanor never missed Leo's birthday. Every year, she brought a new homemade crown. And every year, she helped another child through the Crown Project. Her relationship with her sister slowly healed. They wrote, then called, then visited. One holiday, they shared dinner again, for the first time in 2 decades. And in every photo from then on, whether at birthday parties or charity galas, Eleanor wore something unexpected. Not a designer hat. Not a diamond tiara. But a simple, wrinkled, paper crown. Kindness doesn't need a reason. Just a heart that's open. And sometimes, the most powerful change begins with a small voice asking, "Do you have a family too?" Because love, real, healing love, is never late. It just needs an invitation.